Hey. Greetings, everybody.
Hey, guys. I was just typing in the chat. Hi, everybody. How you doing? There you go. There.
Welcome to Finding Your Music Mojo. I'm TC Kirkham, the Kirkham Report.
And I am Dawn with Two Hip Chicks. Welcome.
Say hi to MKT and Jennifer Hayes and Willow Owlseer.
Yep. Thanks, guys, for coming in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Isn't Mom Knows Treasures your biggest rivalry when it comes to 45 auctions?
I don't know. We'll see.
I thought she was one of them. Yeah.
She's been bidding on them, so.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer said she just dropped the link in bingo. Thank you so much, dear. Appreciate that big time. So as soon as that's finalized and over, we'll probably see a few more people straggling in.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Mom's like, no. I don't know. I know you had a few there, but I didn't know.
So start off with the news that we were dealt a blow this afternoon with the passing of Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah.
Big fan of hers. In fact, I'm going to do influencers on her. I wasn't planning on it yet, but I'm going to go ahead and do it on her this week because I feel like it needs to be done. Because she was a very important influence in my musical life. And I know you were a huge fan as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I saw her in Greece, and you know, that's where she really kind of skyrocketed off, right? I mean, I had listened to her music before, but I think Greece is where she became most popular. You know, the biggest hit for her. And then I just love Xanadu. I thought it was fun. And her voice is just amazing. So I know I'm one of the weird ones that like Xanadu.
Oh, I like Xanadu too. It's just it's definitely one of those films you would call a guilty pleasure if you didn't enjoy it. So
yeah,
or didn't want to admit enjoying it.
Didn't want to admit enjoying it. It didn't age well. I mean, you know, the whole roller skating thing, and although I don't know, I just like the music. I like ELO too, so that's probably the other reason.
Yeah, and the Broadway show did pretty well when it was out too. They had the one act show. I mean, it was right across the street from where we went to see Equus with Daniel Radcliffe, and we were going to try and get there for a matinee, but we couldn't swing it. It was just too expensive for us. So
was it the full? I mean, was it a? Oh, you said it was a one act.
There's no intermission in it. It's done as a full movie type thing. And
was the Gene Kelly character in that? And who?
I honestly don't know.
Oh. Because I'd never heard of that. I didn't know that was a thing. So that's cool.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, but the music was going to live on forever. Of course, she had big hits from 1973 on, and Grease made her explode with You're the One That I Want and Hopelessly Devoted to You. And then she took on the nasty girl image with Totally Hot and Physical. So, you know, but she will definitely be missed.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
So we were going to talk. Go ahead.
I was going to say her earlier stuff too was really good. So.
Yeah, I know a lot of her earlier stuff, and I don't have many albums, so I'm just going to be doing a lot of rambling. So we're going to talk about music documentaries.
Yeah,
different ones.
Great idea, right? Great idea, because there are some really good ones out there.
Yeah.
And some you pointed me at that I had no idea were even out there. So.
Well, yeah, I find them all. That's my film festival. Connections and such is where I hear about them. So, you know, it's kind of nuts. But yeah, there's a lot of great documentaries out there about people, about the music industry, about record stores, about everything. And if you have any taste of any type of music, you can find a documentary that will fit that taste. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot I haven't seen too. I still haven't had a chance to see the Clive Davis documentary. Because he, of course, was probably one of the biggest legends in the business, head of Arista Records first, then J Records and Columbia before that. So, but you were telling me you did watch All Things Must Pass this weekend.
I did. That was the Tower Records one, which, as I was saying, I grew up in Michigan. We didn't have a Tower Records. The closest one would have been probably Chicago. and that was after they have established themselves. They started out on the West Coast, right?
Yeah.
And then they kind of walked up and down the West Coast a little bit, and then went east, and then they went to Japan or what. It's kind of interesting.
And we never had any in Ohio that I knew of, but we had a couple up here. I love the one in Cambridge and the one in downtown Boston, which is now Newberry Comics. But it was a great store to be a part of, and have great, like the one on Mass Ave in Boston was 3 stories. It had the video stuff on the first floor, and then you go up, and the second floor was mostly CDs, and the third floor was like remainders and remnants and cutouts and stuff. And it was great. I mean, you could find anything in that place.
It did amaze me because they were talking about these stores, right? And there's like books, and then you like you said, you had different floors that were just different.
Yeah,
The whole different record store, really.
yeah.
Different kinds of records on the different levels. So I was like, wow. I would have loved to. I would have died probably if I walked into one of those. I've been gone for a while anyway.
Yeah, well, that's because, I mean, like you said, probably where you are, the closest thing would be Chicago, where you could find something like that even now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Boston has never even left. There's probably the Newberry Comics that is there on Newberry Street, which is kind of, I don't think they're in the same, they took over part of what used to be Tower, which later became Virgin. And then they had others. I didn't like Virgin at all. It was too sterile. But it's quite large and divided into sections. And then so is the one at Faneuil Hall near downtown. It's huge and has 3 or 4 different entrances and stuff. But yeah, Tower was just great. Did you get a chance to check out Bathtubs Over Broadway?
No, I kind of like, I bookmarked them all, and it was not. You'd said something about that one being just a little avant-garde or what? Just a little weird.
It's weird. Bathtubs Over Broadway is a great one. You can see it on Netflix. It is a documentary about corporate musicals. They had the gentleman who was one of the comedy writers for Late Night with David Letterman and later The Late Show with David Letterman, would do Dave's record collection segments, and they would go out and search all these weird things. And he happened to cross one of these corporate musical albums in a secondhand store, and he became obsessed with it. And he's now released a book and 3 CDs of the music and some great stuff. He did a great interview with my pal Katie over at Vintage and Vinyl a few months ago. So I'll if I think of it, I'll throw the link into the show notes or somewhere, and you can go over and check it out, because it was a great show. And it's a fun movie. It's definitely funny because, I mean, here are people, a whole musical about bathrooms and plumbing and stuff. And it is a riot, and definitely worth checking out if you're into.
So the guy was a comedic writer, right? So it probably would be. I can imagine it'd be fun. I will get to it for sure.
Some of the earlier ones were written by the gentleman who was deep in Schoolhouse Rock when it first started, Bob Duro, I think. Yeah. They have an interview with him. One of his last interviews is in that film, and some great stuff all the way around. Have you seen any that you liked over the years?
I think most of the ones I've seen were more, artist driven. Like I saw the one about the Carpenters, that one. I think I saw the one about Woodstock as well that MKT's got on there. And then I think there was one about the Temptations. I'm trying to think. So it kind of got interspersed into, or mixed into what I have time to watch. But I'm trying to think of anything that's really like stuck, like stuck in my head big time. Although the only thing that really sticks in my head from like the Tower Records one, No Music, No Life. I love that. That's cool as hell. So, KT said that Tower Records has cool records, but a lot of people didn't know they had great clothes too, jewelry and stuff.
Yeah,
I know they had stuff. I didn't know they had like clothing.
some of them did. Yeah, the ones up
Full on
here didn't,
clothing.
but it's like T-shirts and stuff, and that was it. But
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's cool though.
they were a very cool store.
I miss, I really should have been in a bigger town when I was younger just to enjoy all this because I really missed a lot of that. I did. It's just like, being in Podunk, Michigan, you don't get to see a lot of that.
Well, I didn't grow up anywhere different. I grew up in Little Town, Ohio, and Little Town, Washington.
Yeah.
So, nothing really. I mean, I lived in Newark, Ohio for most of my grade school years, and I don't think there was a single record store that lasted more than a year in any place. They just couldn't compete with the big box marts.
Yeah.
Rosie's I didn't find. Rosie's was around for 30 years, but I didn't find it till I was a teenager and we'd moved back there for a while. But I remember these little ones popping up all over town, and you'd go back and they'd be gone, like, Newark just couldn't sustain one.
Oh, yeah, we had very small mom and pop type places too. So there's a good one about Funkadelic Parliament and George Clinton. Hard to watch, but it's a good either Prime or Netflix. Yeah, either one. All the big channels. That would be an interesting one. I can imagine that would have been rough. I can imagine it would have been rough. It's just the way that that era of music and those that just I could imagine.
Not to mention all the language and drug use and everything else probably going on.
There's a lot going on there.
One of our favorite documentaries, and one that Kim loved it too, was Jingle Bell Rocks, which is about people who collect Christmas music. It is really, really funny, and you find some really bizarre stuff out there. I found the free design because of that movie, and Kim has never, ever never been happy with that.
Thus started the end of their marriage.
No, I don't play it around her. I mean, they had a song called "Close Your Mouth, It's Christmas," and it came out in 1969. And people like Kurt Cobain and a lot of the grunge people thought they were great. They were an act that they impressed them, were their influencers. And I'm like, man, if you listen to that Sunshine Pop stuff, how do you get Kurt Cobain out of Sunshine Pop? But there was a lot of interesting, weird Christmas music out there, and that movie puts a great spotlight on it. And I think it's on Netflix also.
Cool.
You can find it pretty easily. And I gave away copies of it a few years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There was I think I saw a Dr. Demento one as well, but that was a while ago. It's just been forever since I've seen it. A lot of different documentaries on
Dr. the Good Doctor is actually in that documentary too.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, it makes sense. Because I think a lot of Christmas music that's, the funner stuff would obviously be Dr. Demento worthy, right?
Yeah.
Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, and there's a few other ones that are anything the Muppets did for Christmas probably would be in that list as well.
Yeah. A lot like Spencer gifts today. Back in the 80s, you could find big shirts like Boy George, bow for your
Choose Life or whatever. Yeah, right across the front of it. I love that stuff. I miss
favorite Christmas album, Jim Reeves. Oh yeah, that would go way back. I bet Steve has that. I don't have all the stuff that Steve has when it comes to his Jim Reeve Rainbow. The Christmas music one is called Jingle Bell Rocks.
Yeah.
With exclamation points after rocks. And it's pretty funny. But yeah, I'll have to check that out, Richard. Thanks and welcome, and thanks for coming in. It's late over there, isn't it?
I was going to say
11:14, something like that over there.
Poor guy. So like that, right? Jingle Bell Rocks. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was you got a good. In fact, why don't I just put the list in the chat so they can that you sent me?
Yeah, I sent her a list of stuff you could look at, and Jingle Bell Rocks was there. I mean, there were a lot more I didn't put on the list. I could have sent you like 40 or 50 that we've seen at various film festivals over the year. But
you just give me the best of the best, or the.
I gave you the ones I thought you guys would get a good look at. Yes, past my bedtime. LOL. Dude. Richard, while you're here, I want to say thank you for your part in helping to spread the word about the 200 subs contest, because as you haven't seen, I'm at 460 something now,
You are
and we
amazing.
still have another few days to go. So thank you very much for your great entry, and hopefully you'll do well when we draw for it.
You saw when I
Willow,
submitted mine, by the way, that I had to put in there. This is his quest to 200, and then I had to put in, on print on the
yeah.
screen. He's over 400. Took me that long to make a damn video, but hey.
Burl Ives is great. Everybody loves the stuff that he does for Christmas.
Burl Ives was, yeah, I agree. Burl Ives
Our
is
Vinyl
great.
Weighs a Ton is the documentary about Stones Throw Records, a small hip hop label run by late Peanut Butter Wolf. And it was a great, we saw that at the Salem Film Fest a few years ago. Absolutely terrific. And there's the Tower Records one. Tower Records one is also interesting. It was conceived and produced and narrated by its director-producer, Colin Hanks, the older son of Tom Hanks. Really great thing.
Oh, okay, cool.
And
Yeah,
Bathtubs Over Broadway.
I had a great time. The Tower Records one was very interesting. I found it very interesting for a lot of reasons. It's just amazing how you just have an idea and it takes off, and then just
Yeah,
builds a whole empire, and then it crashed pretty much. I think greed was involved there.
I think Creed was involved there all the way around.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, as far as like why the whole thing where they stopped selling the singles, which was pretty much what started him out, right? When you look at it, 45 Records, he was selling at his dad's hardware store or whatever, or appliance store. Yeah, I mean, singles were the bread and butter, right? You don't get rid of your bread and butter. You don't cut off your bread and butter buyers, because
Well,
what gets them in the store.
That was something that the labels made the decision on. They were the ones that decided, they weren't releasing them. And it's affected everything. It affected sales. It affected the store chains. It affected the Billboard charts. Hava Nagila, the movie, this is actually quite a funny little film. We did not realize, we thought it was some, historically accurate, song from way back in the day. It was written actually in the 1910s, and it became a standard after that.
I think it was Under the Electric Sky. You've seen that? Can you remember what the premise was on that one? Because I think that's the one I've seen. It's not ringing my bells as far as.
Under the Electric Sky is about Electric Daisy Carnival in Las Vegas, and I believe it was shot in 2015 or 16. But it's quite a. I am not a huge EDM fan, but I do like some acts. I love Avicii. I love some of the other ones. And but that movie, I loved Under the Electric Sky. It was a great film. It followed several different groups of friends, one of whom it was a group from the Cape of Massachusetts that drove out to Vegas for that year's EDC, and it's really a fascinating film. Sex and Broadcasting, a story about WFMU. This is mostly for radio fans. WFMU is a public radio station. It's not not when I say public, I'm not public broadcasting, but a public community radio station, and they have everything on that station, from klezmer music to heavy metal to punk rock, and each group programs their own show. And they're infamous. You can get them on AM, FM, shortwave. You can find them out in New Jersey on everything. I really didn't know that much about them until I saw the documentary, and it was fascinating. Orion, the Man Who Would Be King. This is a documentary about Orion. Orion was a singer who really clicked in the 1970s when people swore it was Elvis wearing a mask. He doesn't sound that much like Elvis. But in truth, he was a terrific performer. He'd known Elvis back in the day, and unfortunately, he was murdered in a robbery at his pawn shop in 2001, I think it was, something like that. But it was a fascinating film about that. I Am What I Play, I don't think has ever gotten full release. It's on some of the streaming services, but it focuses on 5 classic DJs and what they did, including Boston's John Garabedian, which is what drew me in. David, I'm forgetting his last name. He is a David Marsden, Canadian legend. Meg Griffin from WNYC, and a couple of people from out west. One of the KJR guys from Seattle, who has since passed on, and a 5th one. And it's about rock radio and what radio was like back in the day before, Clear Channel Borg bought everything up. It's a great movie if you like radio, and if you're a person
I'm looking up pictures of Orion. I'm not familiar with this artist.
You can share them if you want.
I could share my screen. Yeah, there we go. Hang on a second. Share screen. It's just here. There we go. Hang on. Boom chakalaka. There you go. For those of you who didn't know what Orion looked like.
The music, I actually do have one of the albums, and it's actually very good. He doesn't sound close enough to Elvis to fool a real Elvis fan. Kim isn't fooled by him, but Kim likes his music, and it was a fascinating story about why this started, and it all started with that "Is Elvis Alive" craze in, like, I don't know, 1983 or whatever it was, and he made a huge career out of it.
Willow's like, huh? Yeah, I know. It's an odd look, but what the heck?
But yeah, it's a fascinating documentary, and they have quite a few extensive interviews with him and the people around him. And of course, he was no longer with us at the time they did it, but
that's interesting.
And
then the Backstreet Boys, we all know who they are.
Backstreet Boys, Show 'Em What You Made Of, was on their reunion after Kevin had returned to the band, and they were going to do some new shows. And it's interesting because you see it's mostly about Nick Carter and his upbringing and his family problems, and how Backstreet helped him get out of that. And then, of course, he had this huge rivalry with Brian Luttrell, who is usually the lead singer, and it was evident in the movie itself. And yet they're still together, still working together. And like I said, I remember when they first hit, I was still working for Transworld, and everybody was laughing about them. And I said, don't knock these guys. Backstreet Boys are the Temptations of their generation. They're going to be around for 30 years from now. And here we are, almost 30 years, and they are still rocking and still rolling and still doing Vegas and still going strong and still having hits, which is really scary.
Not as scary as the Rolling Stones still having hits. That's the scary part. Rolling Stones.
Yeah. Well, at least Mick hasn't had to have like 18 blood cleansing transfusions like Keith Richards has.
Yes, let's all think about the kind of world we're going to leave for Keith Richards, shall we? Yeah. Poor guy. I used to say that about Betty White, but damn it, now she's gone too.
Yeah.
For sure.
I know.
So yeah, I hadn't seen a lot of these, and I need to, obviously. You know how it is. You get caught up with other things, and it's not on the top of your radar.
I don't know about that, Willow. Sometimes there are country versions of boy bands, although they're not quite that young usually. And actually, Brian Luttrell's son Bailey is currently doing pretty well on the country chart with his latest album. He's only 18 or 19 and doing pretty good.
I wonder what we've got in the way. That's a good question now that you look at it. Country music documentaries, because I know there's got to be some.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's plenty. There was a great one called Country Music Portrait of, I think it was Portrait of American Legends, and basically it was about portraits painted of country music stars for I think the original Opry location, and it was also about photographs taken while they were on tour, and it was fascinating watching that. If you're into that kind of stuff, it would have been really fun. Um,
Uh-huh.
they had, they talked with photographers, they talked with the stars. Um,
So
Mar-
go ahead.
I think Marty Stewart was very deeply involved with it, and a few other people. It was a really interesting documentary. Even Kim found it fascinating.
There's one
And
from
yeah,
Dolly. There's one on Dolly Parton on Netflix. It's called Here I Am.
yeah, that's brand new. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. It just came
That would
out.
be good.
There's
That
some
would be good.
great there's some great stuff on Netflix and on several shows that are there's an animated show um, that shows country music biographies as animation, and I want to say it's from the people that did the Drunk History series. But
Oh, really?
you watch those and you're getting the real story, but they're killingly funny. The George Jones Tammy Wynette one is hilarious, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Where is that at?
I don't remember the name of the show. I've got to find out what that is.
And what channel it's on?
Yeah, I think Kim saw it on Netflix or on
There's a Dean Dillon
Pluto
story
or Tubi.
with
I don't know.
Red Stiegel presents Cowboy: The Legend Legacy. Red Stiegel, Steagall.
Red Stiegel. Yeah, he was
You know
popular in the
him.
60s and 70s.
Alan Jackson's got one. Small Town Southern Man. Yeah, there's a few for sure. Well, she said there's a crap ton, especially on YouTube.
Thank you so much
Garth
for the
Brooks, of
compliment.
course. I knew
I
about the
really
Garth Brooks
appreciate
one.
that.
I had seen the Garth Brooks one, but I want to check the Dolly Parton one and the Johnny Cash one as well. There's one of those as well.
Greetings to Robscure Music. Thanks for stopping by.
Greetings and welcome. We be yakking about documentaries, music documentaries. And what's your favorite? I'd like to hear from the chat. There's got to be stuff out there that we haven't even touched on that somebody loved or hated.
Yep.
If you hated it, I'd like to know about it too, just to find out why. For sure. But yeah, I think the one that sticks out in my mind mostly was probably one of the first music documentaries I saw was the Karen Carpenter story.
Now you're talking the one that PBS runs, what is it? Yesterday Once More, Remembering the Carpenters, or
This was like a drama. This was a drama.
Oh, so that is the
That's a
biopic.
documentary, right? Or what do you want to call it?
That's the biopic with Cynthia Gibb and Mitchell
I saw
Anderson.
that first, and then I saw the one, yeah, the real documentary. But I did see I saw the biopic first.
Yeah.
Which was kind of very sad.
Yeah.
Very sad. She didn't look a damn thing like her, by the way, either. But hey, they try.
No, they never do. Biopics never do.
They're getting better at it now, though. They're getting better at it. You can touch it up. You can de-age. You can do many things. They make it work.
I watched a documentary on YouTube that the BBC had done on Neil Sedaka. Neil was he was participant in it, and he talked about the music and how he read it and how he wrote it and the songs he wrote. It was it's a little over an hour. It's easily findable on YouTube. Terrific little documentary though, and it tells the whole life story when he started and how he got into music and how he took off and then died out and then rekindled his career, and it was fun. I've been a big fan of his for years. So
yeah, what do you think was the biggest boost for his or rekindle for his career? I'm gonna move my stuff around a little bit. There we go. Let's see.
You mean as far as songs go?
Yeah, I mean he did. What brought it? What do you think kind of rekindled his popularity?
Well, he came back in the 70s after over 10 years away with Sedaka's Back, which was a compilation of the two albums he'd released in England over the last 2 or 3 years before that. And Laughter in the Rain became a monster hit, brought him back to the top of the charts, and he was around for another 5 or 6 years. After that. He's still recording. He's still doing new stuff, still touring. And he's in his early 80s, and he doesn't look a day over 50. It's scary.
Good Lord.
He really
He's one of those guys with a portrait in his attic, right? Yeah, one of those.
Cliff Richard.
There you go. Exactly. Can we treat these? Oh, okay.
Oh,
cool.
Awesome.
Rags to riches to rags. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Rob, there's a email in the show notes for all my shows. You can shoot me an email at those, and we'll work something out.
What is Barnaby by Vinyl?
Barnaby Bye was a group that were around in the early '70s. That later, the two
Okay.
of the twins that were a part of it, Billy and Bobby Alessi, formed Alessi in the late '70s, and they're still working together
Cool.
like 40 years later. And I was looking for some stuff, and he had shown it on one of his video, his video entry into the contest, and I was like, oh, okay.
Very neat.
Rob,
Hey,
thank you very much.
get that obscure stuff,
Um,
baby. Jones, Wales. Yeah. You're fizzled out, maybe.
yeah, that's a good one. He's another one that's come and gone. He had big career, and then he slid down a couple more hits in the '70s, and then suddenly he's everywhere after he did Art of
Kid.
Noise Kids with
Oh,
the Art of
okay.
Noise, and
Yeah.
now I think he's, if I'm not mistaken, he's currently a coach on The Voice UK. Last time I saw him, he was
He
over
might
there.
be. Because I know he was doing something like that. That might be
Yeah,
what it is.
I don't watch a lot of that. I'll keep an eye on The Voice stuff just to see if I see somebody I really like, and I tend to keep track of Australia more than anything because they seem to have people I really enjoy down there. I found several on AGT Australia's Got Talent a few years ago that I
Ah.
love,
You think it's because
and
they just have more of a pop, kind of a pop sound there, or pop? It kind of pleases your ear more,
I don't
your
know
popular music ear.
if you
Maybe
if you John, look up the name Jack Vidgen.
Jack.
Uh, yeah,
How
and
am I
look up
spelling that, by the way?
DGEN. He was 14 when he won Australia's Got Talent. He's 23 now, and he took time off for a while
Jeez.
because his career just kind of, he came to America and they ate him alive, and so he got out of the business for a while.
He looks
Made a
like a Ken
triumphant
doll.
return.
Is this the guy that looks like a Ken doll?
Yeah, he made a return on Australia's The Voice and stunned everybody. That when they turned around, they instantly knew who it was because he was already a star in Australia and nailed Adele's "Hello" to an amazing.
Oh, this is the kid with the brain tumor.
Is it? I don't think so.
Jack Vidgen.
Mhm.
Yeah, he had a
He might have
brain.
had. I think he had a tumor behind his eye, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been part of it, but yeah.
I think I've heard of this kid. Yeah.
And but I mean, he came back uh, after 4 or 5 years of not singing and did The Voice, and the judges were all hitting their buttons to turn around. And Kelly Rowland, who's down there doing that Australia's Voice now, her mouth dropped open. She knew him. Guy Sebastian knew him, of course, because he was part of the AGT team. Yeah, that's
That's
Jack.
him.
Boy George was the only person that didn't know who he was. It was so funny, and I'm like, and they're like, "Oh, George, he's quite a star here in Australia. He won Australia's Got Talent when he was
He
14.
started really young then, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He was magnificent. Nowadays, he's pretty much become an LGBTQ icon representative,
Yeah.
having come out as gay a few years ago, and really is just doing gangbusters again. And it's just, that voice of his is just magic. I love his voice.
I will have to check him out. I'd heard about him, but I hadn't heard him. I haven't heard him, but I will go check him out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Does anybody actually? That's another topic we can get on. Does anybody here do you guys watch the musical talent shows to see if you can find somebody new? Because I used to watch AGT all the time, but I just kind of lapse on it. And I keep track of who's on there on YouTube, and I keep track of The Voice, but I haven't watched anything. I was prepared to watch The Voice this summer, but the person that was trying to get on didn't make it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Somebody I'm already a fan of. So, but yeah, I love watching those, and The Voice is what led me to Sawyer Fredericks, who is just one of my favorite artists of all time at this point in time.
Cool.
So
yeah, I don't find myself watching it that often. It's probably because I'm working all the time. And I know
yeah,
that's a cop out because I could watch and listen while I'm working, I guess. But I don't have what do I want to say? We don't have cable, so we don't get
yeah, you
the
don't get
feed.
live. Get it.
Yeah, I
You
don't
get
have
the
a lot of
next
keys
day on
from them.
Peacock if you're lucky.
I don't
So.
have Peacock either, which is weird. I should, but I don't.
It's free.
I know. I just. I
God,
could
you
change
have
it
to
on
install
YouTube.
Peacock. You
As a
have to
bad.
install Peacock. It's the home of Eurovision. Shame on you.
I know. I will hang my head now in shame.
And it might become home to the American Song Contest next year if what I'm hearing
I'm
is right.
keeping my fingers crossed for that because you know how they are.
Yeah.
You know how they are. Yeah. See, Willow knew who it was. There you go. Long as not
Yep.
after surgery. Has a great voice. No worries about this. Don't worry about the spelling. MKT. We're good with that.
Yep.
Yeah, no, which I'm right with you. And I could probably pull it up on YouTube. I bet you it's on YouTube. I'll bet you something's on YouTube. But
What? Oh,
I'm a bad person. I will watch ghost videos, lawn cutting videos, Korean street food videos, some guy cleaning out water, cleaning out beaver dams and culverts. But I won't. I won't listen. I know I'm strange. I
no.
admit it. You're welcome.
I watch music videos. My wife and I watch a lot of the Watch Mojo and Mashed and stuff like that, and wrestling stuff, of course, because we're both wrestling fans. But but the only thing I don't watch on my own is I'll look for. There's a great channel I love called The History Guy, and I also love a channel called Simply Railway, which is a dude traveling the entire world here and there on different trains, and it's so much fun. Love that. Yes, Jordan Smith was incredible. And I loved his song from this year's American Song Contest. I think it finished in 4th place. Terrific, terrific song. And I'd love to see. I mean, he's just an amazing vocalist. And somebody said they were voting for him because he was from their home state. He's from Kentucky. And he was terrific. I mean, just I could go on and on about those. And yes, Don, you can check out The Voice and all those on. I'll have to start sending you like links every now and then to good stuff to try out. Like I bet you have never heard of Chucka Parker, have you?
Chucka Parker? You really put me on the spot here. I'll leave the studio. I'm going out now. No, hang on a second. Let me share this is the guy you were talking about. Hang on. This guy. Oh, share. Thank you. That's the guy, right?
That's Jordan Smith, yeah.
Yeah. I think I saw him sing. His voice is amazing.
Oh my God, he's fantastic. I love his voice too.
No. Who am I supposed to look up now?
Chucka Parker, you don't have to look him up. Chucka Parker was on the Australia's Got Talent the same season as Jack Vidgen. And he was a 16, he's now pushing 30, but he was 16 at the time, and he was self-taught on the piano, and he was an improvisational musician. And now he's turned that into a career. He's learned guitar, he does vocals, he's still, and he also does comedy on a different channel, but he has 2 separate YouTube channels, and he's really fantastic. Yeah, he lived in Vegas for a couple of years actually because he had a deal there. So
here's a lovely picture of him. I'll share this to everybody in the chat who doesn't know who the heck this guy is. Here's a lovely picture of him in front of his keyboard with a chicken on his head. There you go.
Yeah, that's Chucka. I don't know if you can really see it everywhere. That's back a ways. He's fantastic though. His playing is awesome. Janet Devlin, I'm not familiar with. I need to find her apparently because I don't follow Britain's Got Talent much. I should more often.
I need to. Obviously, I'm missing a lot here. Thank you guys. You're filling in my pitiful, disgusting, unsuccessful life. I appreciate that. No, really. Who else have we got here? Obscure music. What's the shows? Janet Devlin's music too.
Chase Beckham is from Apple Valley, so I watched him a couple of times. What's Apple Valley, MKT? Is that a city?
Well, around here, it's a grocery store.
I know Maple Valley, Washington is the home of Benicio Bryant from AGT a few years ago. And also Brandy Carlisle, who more people would be probably know her better.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go through this. I will replay this, and I will pull up everybody, and I will listen to them, and I will report back next week or 2 weeks or whatever. In a fortnight, you'll hear from me. Yeah, there's just tons of artists that I probably. They say as you get older. That's no excuse.
Yeah.
Not an excuse.
Hey, Johnny. I'm glad
Johnny
Jennifer
came
said
in,
hi
yeah.
because I didn't even see you come in.
I-
Welcome, dude.
I typed a real quick hey in there. I didn't want to interrupt you, but yeah, Johnny showed up. Thank you, Johnny. Hope bingo went well.
Richard's with you. He likes Korean street food videos. I love good. Oh, who is the guy Kim and I love? He does. I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to switch channels to look up and see what, because I don't have any of those on my this ID. I have my other ID, my PNR Networks ID for all the non-music stuff. But I can't. But there's this dude that runs around and does all kinds of food all over the world. He did one a couple weeks ago where he was checking out the food from Harrods in London, the department store. And I'm like, well, we need to do a road trip. Let's go over and find some food at Harrods. Yeah.
Check it out. Yeah, what I love about the Korean and Japanese street food is what in the heck did they just put in? Because they don't tell you, they just show you. So they're not telling you what they're putting in there. And I'm like, I think that was honey, but I'm not sure what that was. So yeah. It's like playing a guessing game as well as watching people cook. It's interesting.
Sadly, I haven't checked out American Idol since it came back on ABC. I haven't really paid much attention to it, mainly because it still has Ryan Seacrest on it, and I just can't stand him.
Yeah, I hear you. Mark Wiens, is it? Mark Wiens? Nope.
I don't know. That
Maybe?
could be it.
Okay.
I'm gonna find it. Wait a minute. Let me come over here, and I will just look this up here.
Apple Valley. Okay. Yeah, like I said, from around here, it's a grocery store. So I didn't know what it was, but that's good to know. I love it when local, you get a small town person going on those shows. I just love the energy. When the people that show up for that.
Come on, will you cooperate with me, please?
No, I will not. Thank you very much.
No, I'm just trying. I have a bunch of live animal stuff on my other ID too. I want to say it's something to do with ramen or something in his name.
Maybe.
I'm never gonna find it. Probably. I'll have it for you next time.
It's got ramen in it. I'm halfway there for you, buddy.
Well, I'm not sure if that's right or not.
We're talking about Japanese or Chinese street food now. There you go. Ramen.
But yeah, it's a it's a
You'll
great.
Find
he
it.
does great
You'll
stuff.
Find it. Yeah. So I like the fact that you guys are throwing artists out there that you've discovered in either one of the Got Talents or the whatever's.
Yeah.
I guess I stopped watching like American Idol and those a while ago, and I don't know why. I just stopped.
Well, like I said, we were watching HT for the longest time, and then the last couple of years, I just haven't really taken the time because everybody I like that I really find that I really like gets cut and doesn't make it through to the to their TV shows. Like last year, I just had this new program on my computer that lets me know whenever I get a message on my phone. Please stop doing that.
Technical error. Hold on. He's working on it.
Incredible musician named Dylan Zangwill, who I've talked about a number of times on my show. At the time he was 14 and he was on the show they do to let some of their favorites get voted through to the live shows that's just kind of a sampler, and he just missed it. They went with some other girl and she ended up getting eliminated the very next two nights. And I'm like, Dylan is just an amazing musician, and I've talked about a lot of them on Artists You Should Know on the Kirkham Report. I've talked about Dylan. I've talked about Jacob Velasquez. I've talked about Benicio Bryant.
Yeah, guys, Go check out
Well,
some of his previous Kirkham Report stuff. You'll see a lot of artists you should know. They've got a lot of good ones on those.
yeah, I'm going to put a special together of all those at some point too.
You
So,
should. You should.
like when I get a good group of them and just have here's the best of your artists you should know, because you should know them. Go find them, buy their music, make them stars. Yes, now.
Make them famous. Damn it. How is your Obscura going, by the way? Your daily Obscure titles. How does that? Is it going good for you?
Oh yeah.
Have people been giving you ideas and sending you?
I've had a few requests. I have one coming up from MKT that will be coming up next week, because I had already planned 2 or 3 weeks in advance. So, but I was able to slip it in next week, so that'll be cool. And this week, if you'll notice a trend with this week's songs. So
he's not going to just call them out and tell you what they are. He'll let you guess.
Well, it's just kind of a trendy thing. Everybody will recognize.
It's an easy enough trend, right? It's not like people who wear like size 34 underwear or something. It's not something that vague and obscure. It's easier to identify than that.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
What on earth is wrong with you?
A question has been asked many times before you got here, let me tell you. And will be asked many times again.
No, it's just a vague general topic this week, and you'll figure it out as we go through it the week.
Okay.
If you listen today,
works for me.
Should figure it out.
Thank you. Hey, look at that. Ella Henderson from X Factor UK in 2012 or 2012.
Yep.
Nice. I'll check it out. This is a gift that keeps giving today, man. You guys are just filling me up with all sorts of interesting stuff.
Again, Australia. Isaiah Firebrace. He was the winner of the X Factor in 2017. I think it was. Oh, I got to shut YouTube off. And he represented Australia the next year at Eurovision. And now he's he's just really an amazing singer. Where am I getting that feedback from?
Oh, I don't know. Am I feeding back?
I don't know if it's you or me.
I can't hear anything.
Okay.
Do you hear it?
It was fine. I hear it when I talk, and I wasn't doing that till after I went on YouTube, so I figured that's what it was. And there it disappeared again. Okay, so there we go. Huh?
I muted my thing. It's probably me.
Yeah. I didn't hear anything. Well, not a biggie. It's probably just me.
No,
So
I turned down my mic a little bit, and I'll turn this down, and it's probably me. Your feedback, you're coming through my mic.
Oh, okay.
What was probably going on? Do you hear it now?
Oh.
There you go. For sure. Night Shift Prowler. Title of your show. What do you actually do? Dang good question. Is he talking to me or you? That's the thing. I'm not sure.
You can explain what it means. Finding your music. What the idea was when we started was to help newbies get involved in music. And we were doing pre-taped shows when we first started. And so when we started going live a few weeks ago, it decided to kind of went to a free-for-all, and it kind of went from there. But this is
show or the Kirkham Report. That's why I was like, go ahead, go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going by this one.
Yeah, you're right.
Kirkham Report is just me. It's whatever I want to do.
But yeah, it's just like get together and talk about music thing. That's all. Just other things, obviously.
Yeah, I adore Adam Lambert, one of the most talented.
Who doesn't love Adam Lambert?
Saw him with Queen a few years ago. Just fantastic. One of the last live shows we've been to. Actually, it's been a while. So they're great together.
I'll put these on. There. No, you don't have any feedback, do you?
No, I didn't have any after you adjusted stuff. So
I just want to make sure. Real obscure
when you
ones.
say real obscure ones, there's all kinds of real obscure ones. I can go real obscure.
Yeah.
As in,
real.
I don't think I can get as obscure as some of the people that entered the contest, who have some really amazing stuff out there, and a lot of it is very rare and very obscure, depending on where you are. and it's been fun watching
I
all
know.
those videos.
I know. It's like, and some of the
Oh
people
my
that,
gosh, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I should have put some limits on it, but I didn't.
what, like only 25 people? No,
No,
no.
more like keep it to 10 minutes or less, because I've had some that actually have gone over 30. So it's like, wow, but they're great fun to watch. And on, 2 times, it's fine. Get through them quicker.
After
But
you
I've seen
told me that, I went ahead and made it 8 minutes or 8.5 or something.
yours
I was
was
like,
fine.
well, Mary and I went on for a lot longer, let me tell you. But I thought, poor TC, he's got to watch this, so we'll pull it in, just
I
pull it
don't
a
mind
little
at
bit.
all. I enjoy watching all of them. I have a couple more to watch tonight, and I enjoy watching them.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. I've been checking them out too. They're great.
I am not familiar with Marah, Rob. Kind of music are they?
Yeah, that's interesting.
That does sound. I mean, just the name is like,
We find our music mojo, obviously. There you go. Hey, you find it where you can find it, baby. Let me tell you. Also sung shares, believe. Oh yeah, really? Well,
Yeah, I can imagine he could probably do that well.
he can do a lot. He sings with Queen too, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what I said. We saw him with Queen a few years ago, and he was
Yeah.
amazing. On my part, I go live singing karaoke and sing requested songs when I'm live every Friday. I know people that did that. Kim loves doing karaoke. We haven't been for, oh God, 15 years probably, but she loves doing that. I'm too. I get my nerves, just my knees start, so I can't do it.
I think I could do it now. I'm pretty sure since we've been doing the, records 45, hold up to 45 and sing along or sing to it. I'm pretty sure I can get up and do karaoke now, no problem.
Yes, but can Mary get up and sing Bruce Hornsby? That's the question.
No, no, she won't. If she could, she'd beaker it. Is probably what she'd do. Just
You guys ought to all go out and. Oh, hey, I like that. I'm going to write that down, Rob.
banjos and harmonica. I love that.
Yeah, that does sound right up my alley too.
Yeah,
Boisterous rock with banjos and harmonica.
harmonica.
Yes.
I like that. I'll do
Thank
that.
you for the tip, Rob. I'm definitely going to try that out. That sounds really, really interesting.
I'm gonna
High
check that
energy
out.
music.
Good. That's what I do with music. I use it to motivate me and
Yeah.
keep me going. So that's good. That's good. Let's start with that. Although it's also good for depending on your mood, of course. But
Yeah, one of the best artists I found recently, I found completely by accident, is a dude named Michael Christensen. He's actually a member of the vinyl community, and I found his album through Professor Carlson, Steve
ooh,
Carlson, and then I was stunned to see Melinda Murphy showed the album this last week, but he has a brand new album out and it's available on Bandcamp. And if you're
cool.
he's kind of what you might get if you crossed synthesizer artists like Tomita with Joe Satriani, and he comes up with these amazing music scapes that I went and bought his whole catalog after I found that first album. I just went and got everything off of Bandcamp. I love the stuff.
That's often.
There you go. Don and Mary's entry was awesome. They have some great items. They sure do.
Aw, you're too sweet. That was fun. It was fun. What can I say? We yeah. And I had other ones I should have probably pulled too, but we can only do 10.
I've had a few people sneak in a few extras here and there.
The one that of Mary's, the one that was the Hornsby, which is mostly what Mary had. The yellow, it's yellow as that shirt, for God's sakes, that vinyl. It's just amazing to me. It's very yellow. It's like looking into the sun kind of brightness on that. So, but yeah, it's cool. We had a good time. Everybody should go check all those videos. Watch.
Yep. There's a playlist of all the official entries and some entries which have been people have told me they don't want to enter, they just wanted to participate. So those are in there as well. There's a few other ones floating around that I haven't actually had enter or mention the channel, so I'm not adding those to the playlist because I don't know if they want them on there or not. And I keep leaving them a note, hey, drop by and let me know and subscribe. And I'll add you to the playlist. But so far, not that many of them have done that, so I don't think they're really interested. But
They were just
I
like
really appreciate
participating.
Rob did a great did a great entry last week, and really, like I said, he showed some Barnaby by, and I'm like, wow, that's really something I haven't seen forever, and it's been very cool.
That's cool.
Seeing all the different stuff and finding out other artists and finding other people who enjoy all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Lucy Thomas.
Lucy Thomas. Irish gal has an amazing voice. Her little sister Martha also sings with her sometimes. I like good harmonies. That's probably the thing that draws me to a lot of the music I listen to is good tight harmony. It's just a thing I like. It's a thing that pleases my ear.
Good harmonies are always a plus.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I'm gonna have a whole list by the time we're done here. Thank you, everybody.
I'm writing these all down too. I'm like, I'm gonna go hit Spotify and YouTube and try.
That's what the chat's for.
I already have a book from all the entries in the contest I've got. I have like, oh, I gotta go check out all these things because they all sound really interesting to me.
Well, they do. That's the fun part.
Sure. I will be posting a contest update video either tonight or tomorrow, just so you know, if you're watching. And I'll also have influencers up in the next couple of days. So that'll be something else going on. But the 77s, cool. I'm not familiar with the 77s. Post-punkish Christian group. That's probably why.
Really? 77s. I'm looking. What's the name for? I mean, how do they get that name? That always intrigues me. How do they get that name? 77's official website. Ooh, they have a website. And they have merch.
Oh boy, Dawn loves her surfing.
I do. That's me.
I do too. Me too.
I'll check it out. They look like they're rocking band. They look like they're rocking. Unplugged. They have an unplugged tour going. Cool. Like I said, I got a lot to look up now. Thank you very much. So, is there anything we missed as far as documentaries?
There's quite a few on there, but yeah, there's the Wrecking Crew, which came out a few years ago. I haven't seen that yet. I'd like to. And the Glenn Campbell documentary, which also got rave reviews, and I think it got an Oscar nomination too, which I've got to sit down and watch. But there's a lot of great documentaries, and if you do see some and would like to share that with us, please by all means, leave it in the comments so we can go have people check it out. And we should be leaving some of this stuff in the comments also so people can go check it out.
I think we will. For sure.
So what do you got going on the rest of this week, Dawn?
Oh, goodness. Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon Eastern time, as you all hopefully know. Mary and I do a show called Chick Chat. It is kind of like this, only it's probably more about cats.
You do? You do a show called Chick Chat? I've never heard of it.
Yeah. So very similar to this. Yeah, we just sit down and talk to people in the chat. We talk about cats, food. There's a whole list that we have and usually all at the same time sometimes. So we'd love people to come and check that out. And I'm on, Mary and I are both on Wednesday with Johnny for his Hump Day auction. And that happens at 2 o'clock, I believe, Eastern time.
This is where we have the knockdown drag out auction battles over 45s.
Over 45 RPM records, yes, for sure. Where I bring many things as well as some vinyl. So that's kind of fun. And then Mondays, we're doing the Death Pile Clearance with BMOS and Melody. And that is at 1 o'clock on Melody's channel, Eastern time as well. And then every other Monday, I'm hanging out with this guy right here. This guy. And we do this on each other's channel. So next
time it'll be on her channel.
It'll be on my channel. So go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell if you want to. Come on by. We don't have to subscribe, but at least you'll get notices that way. So there you go. Yeah. And that's it. How about you?
I have influencers coming up tomorrow at 4. I have I'll have a couple of other things going on this week. I'll just regular stuff that I don't normally do. Rank This should be back Thursdays at 4, and the Kirkham Report Saturdays at 4, plus the Retro Pop Countdown on Sunday at 4, and Daily Obscuria Monday through Friday at 11 a.m., all on TKR Video Central.
Great channel, by the way.
Thank you. So is yours.
For sure. Thank you.
Although I still haven't seen that video of Mary gardening yet.
I know, it's coming. It's coming. I've totally been a bad girl when it comes to editing. I have. I just have not gotten. That's not where my love is right now. My love is in listening and selling. That's what I've been doing. So, but I'll get there.
Hope everybody enjoyed themselves this evening, and hope you'll be back in 2 weeks when we hit over to Two Hip Chicks for the next episode of Finding Your Music Mojo. And until then, I'm TC from TKR Video Central.
And I am Dawn from Two Hip Chicks.
And we will see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming.